Well, how do you do, folks? It's another pleasant evening, reaching upon the third degree of the morning, 3 a.m. or so, and I just wanted to express myself and have a nice, little bit more silent smoking video here. If you guys enjoy my smoking videos, please do subscribe and like below. I'm Snowy Croquet, a simple enough name. I wanted to kind of express myself here and just, point out that I've been smoking a lot of reds recently, and I've been smoking a lot of blues as well, and things that really stem my interest. I don't know what it is, whether it's the heat of summer, we're in the midst of approaching summer here, or whether it be something along the lines of how much I've been consuming after in the late hours or so, in the after hours. Just something really just peaks, and I just find it very appeasing and appealing, and all those capital A's when it comes to smoking with reds and blues and the heavier types of cigarettes. But yeah, my voice isn't that high after all. But anyway, okay, doke. So we have menthols. That's the main transition I'm approaching here. Menthol Gold Pyramid, and I bought all my utilities today, and I said to myself, why not strive for something along the lines of what I've been used to, akin to in the spring and winter months when it comes to smoking. And the transition period is very important for me. I'm very nostalgic in a way. In a sense, I recognize what happened to me in like summer 2013 to a degree. I remember 2011 fairly well. That's like what, 7 years ago or so. And just altogether, I'm just striving for the best smoke every time I smoke. And when it really comes down to it, I think the best kind of smoke is one where you're just focused, and you can bring out the best of your cigarette and focus on your cigarette and understand the kind of depth of the tobacco altogether, and why it really strives to be an important hobby for you, or an important necessity for you. And there are, not to be the bad news bears here, not to be Mr. Johnny Rain Cloud, but I think without a doubt, smoking is probably the most risky hobby out there for sure. And not to wag my finger, because I, heaven forbid, have my own smoking channel. So who am I to speak, guys, right? So anyway, I'll light up here. Pyramid Menthol Gold, wonderful brand. And if you're used to my channel, you'll know I'm a little bit more of a philosophical, analytical smoker who enjoys thinking about things while I'm smoking and expressing them and whatnot. But as opposed to actually reviewing the similarities of the cigarette with other cigarettes, etc. Even though I do some connoisseurship here and there. The provocative first puff. Oh, alas. It's like when the Titanic first hit that first iceberg. It was very shocking altogether, and people went. That's like the first puff of the cigarette for me, in a sense, but. And is this not the best thing, in a sense? Savoring the flavor of the cigarette, somehow imagining if I became a famous YouTuber somehow. And I know I don't put a lot of editing effort into my videos to make them more flashy and whatnot. I think we have an excellent market here when it comes to the cigarette market. It's kind of like the underground market, in a sense. People try to ignore it, and people try to um, disband it from their own mentalities, that it's a part of their reality. Seeing things like cigarettes being advertised at the local pub or casino, or something of that sort. While all the while, cigarettes become an integral part of our life. People have been smoking since well into the colonial ages. I'm not a huge fan of Puritan mentality and Puritan ideology. The strictest of Christian mentalities. The idea behind Puritanism is to disband with all Catholicism in Europe and create this kind of America where we had all sorts of new ideologies, and actually the earliest of Americans, beside the Jamestown colonists and several others, maybe perhaps the Roanoke colony of Sir Walter Raleigh, for instance, just for instance, an exception of those few, most early American colonies were actually quite specifically part of the kind of extremist, what we would refer to today as a kind of extremist, strict, post medieval age and era, inquisitive um, ideology of Christianity that struck itself. And it's interesting because that was the same time when Belgium and the Netherlands and Spain were all booming culturally and booming in their own kind of renaissance around the late 1600s and early 1700s, and kind of boosting their trade value and whatnot, and becoming the kind of naval powers that they were. And in this whole era, tobacco was booming. That's when people first kind of became naturalized in the Western world, at least I assume, to cigarette smoking and tobacco smoking. And now the only addition we have, an exception to that actual form of tobacco that they smoked back then, is that our tobacco is much more sterilized, manufactured, less natural, and we have the butts and whatnot of the cigarette filtering it out. Filtering out whatever additives might have been placed there in the first place, come the 21st century and whatnot. I'll have another puff here. Really burns the lips in a positive way. But alas, thank you guys for viewing my video. I'm always here on this channel. I'm always posting various material and whatnot. So thank you so much for viewing. Pyramid Menthol Gold, a wonderful attribute to my own day, and one that is highly recommended. A very simple, basic cigarette, so to say, back and front. There you have it, folks. I'm Snowy Croquet. As always, adieu. Thank you. Goodbye.